Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB Bikini Pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. I want to share that before we get into this episode, there is going to be a change moving forward with the podcast where you will start to hear advertisements. Now, I promise you, they will not be advertisement after advertisement after advertisement on things that you're not even interested in or could benefit in. My goal with this podcast has never been to monetize it like crazy or interrupt your listening, because I know many of you listen while you are doing your cardio or working out or driving to and from. Of course, I put a lot into this podcast, and I really want to make even more of an impact with my message of build more than just a body, which has been my mission since 2015. And it really evolved into me supporting the competitor space in 2018 after launching this podcast, actually. So you are going to be hearing throughout episodes moving forward random plugs for things like my free food relationship coaching series, post-show blues coaching series, the work that I offer, or services I offer, I should say. And you might even hear some plugs from companies that I believe in or enjoy using that I could see as a benefit to listeners. But like I said, my commitment is not to overly interrupt your listening or make it very intrusive. My goal is to support you in your journey always and find ways to continuously support you guys. And so I know I have a lot of really great resources for competitors that I don't discuss enough. And funnily enough, at one of my events, I was talking about some of the things that I offer, and the girls there were like, "Why don't you ever talk about this on your podcast? We need to know about these things. It's awesome, and it can make such a big difference for competitors." So I've been meaning to do this for a very long time. I've put it off, but I am going to start doing it. And I wanted to make sure that I announced it in this way first, so you guys weren't taken by surprise or felt any type of way about the podcast after. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. This is purely with the intention of providing even more value and support to the community. And I'm always open to feedback. Of course, I love your feedback. And this podcast is for you. So definitely let me know what your thoughts are. If anything, I just hope that you're inspired to take action on some of what I share and engage with some of the bonus material that I provide or advertise about, or companies, etc. And we can continue to grow as a community together and have really fulfilling and empowering preps, improvement seasons, and all phases of this lifestyle. Today, we are speaking with one of 3 bikini pros from Czechoslovakia, hopefully I said that correctly, who started competing in the IFBB Elite in 2016 before switching to the NPC in 2022, where she placed first in every competition before going to pro qualifying shows, where she came short of the pro card 2 times and then earned it at her 3rd pro qualifier. This athlete is a passionate coach who offers posing and fitness coaching, and I'm very much looking forward to having her on because she's been a long-time listener, follower, and supporter of the show. So welcome, Anna Faltova. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I honestly, you have no idea how many times I listened to your episodes, and I honestly should look it up because in my YouTube channel I always mention every month. I always do like the favorites, and almost every month there is also there's also podcast section, like favorite podcasts for the previous month, and almost every month it's one of your episodes. So
Oh my God.
I should really look it up, because it's like, I think it's like 4 years.
I remember it
Honestly.
was 2019. You messaged me and you were like, this podcast just became one of my favorites. And then like a few months, maybe another month passed, and you're like, I dream of becoming a guest one day. And then you've supported the show for so long. Like, you've posted it on your stories. You've made efforts to like tag me, and it's been really awesome. And now you won your pro card, and here we are. So it's really,
absolutely
really
crazy.
cool. That's a lot.
Crazy.
2019 to 2020, 2021, 20, it was like 3 years-ish.
Yeah, definitely.
I
3
love
years.
that.
Oh my God.
Well, let's answer the question I ask everybody, which is, do you have something you do, or maybe a ritual or something you think about before your heel hits the stage?
You know, it's so crazy, because I hear you asking this question, all athletes, and I was always like mid-walk, or you know, getting to get ready for training, and I was always like, you know, what would I say if I would ever turn pro, and if I would ever be in this show, what would I say? So it's really crazy that it's that it's here, and I can finally say what I did. Um, Before stage, I usually say prayer with my mom, and if she's not there with me, we hit hop on a phone, and we said our little prayer. But the praying is never like, let Anna win, or let's win this, or you know, something like that. It's always let it happen as it should happen. And that's one of our like little ritual. And after that, of course, I hit a pump up, I get some carbs, I remain myself calm, I remain myself keep breathing heavily, and yeah, you know, being in the moment, really not rushing anything, being there on the time, and imagining my posing routine, and also imagining my posing song, because always I had like a special posing song. I got also on my own playlist on Spotify, and I have special songs with each prep and with each moment. So when I'm doing my routine, I have this song in my head, and it keeps me keep my routine really slow, because sometimes, you know, all the nerves hits and everything, and our routine gets really fast. So these slow songs helps me to keep it as slow as it should be. Of course, you don't want to be there like hour, but yeah, I think you got my point.
What is that song?
For this prep, it was mainly it's called Betty, but I'm not sure who's the artist. But when you look up my playlist on Spotify, and you wrote there, like you write there Betty, BADDEE, it will come up. So it
Awesome.
was
What is your
my main
Spotify?
song.
What's your
My
Spotify?
my it's my name. It's my
Okay.
name. I think it should be up when people write it up.
Awesome. Well, you know, I had this year one time where I was always envisioning Lose Yourself by Eminem, and I listened to it.
Oh my God.
And then I went so freaking slow on stage, too slow, and it was not good.
Eminem forever.
Yes, I love Eminem.
Yeah, you know, millennials and Eminem and Pitbull, and it's we've been there.
Yeah, I used to listen to Eminem a lot more than I do now. Now I'm like into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me too.
But I definitely like the slower. That is a nice one, but then I went too slow on stage. I was like, okay, not doing that again. But I do agree, it's good to have things that keep you grounded. And what I love about the prayer that you and your mom do together is it focuses on letting basically what is meant to be. And I'm wondering how that's actually supported you in your journey, because you had many
times where you were close, and even times where you thought about giving up, but in that time frame of like recommitting to this sport and coming close so many times, how did you maintain the faith that yes, I'm where I need to be and it'll happen in the right timing?
Yeah, it's exactly as you said. Also, I want to say in the beginning that I forgot to say that English is not my main language, so I'll try to do my best. And if I said anything incorrectly, I apologize. But I hope I can express myself as best as I can. So with this, I don't know exactly how to explain it. I always believe that what's meant to be in our life, it will be there. And if you really want something but it shouldn't be there, you will learn later why it shouldn't be there. So it's mainly like my own belief that I belong in this sport, and I what should be what should be mine will be mine. And I always said, even in prep, when I lost the first time in pro qualifier, I said, like week before the show, I write down the caption that says, how it was, be ready to clap when it's not your time, because when your time will come, the others will clap for you. And if it's meant to be, it will meant to be. So it's more like my mindset. I cannot even explain it, but it always gives me, like this peace. So that's the main reason for me.
I love that. It's a very present type of mentality and way to live life, where you're accepting and you're open. And I love that you clap for other people right when they win. And I don't understand the sore losing. I don't see it often, luckily, which is really great, but I do know it happens. And I think it's awesome that you really reinforced for yourself, like, your time will come, and keep going. And that takes me back to 2020, because at that point in your journey, you were really kind of giving into limiting beliefs that others were putting on you, that you wouldn't be successful in this, especially in the NPC. So you stopped training for bodybuilding for a year, and then you primarily did calisthenics and gymnastics up until seeing the Olympia in 2020. And then something hit you like, there's more left for me to accomplish. That sparked the 2022 season prep and you becoming an IFBB Pro. So can you walk us through how you went from, I'm no longer seeing a future in this sport, to literally carrying the pride you have now in representing your country this way?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's such a good question. I'm glad you asked. In 2020, funny to say, it's going to be exactly 2 years in a week that this happened to me, because we got, Olympia in 1 week. Yeah. So it reminded me that it will be 2 years that I made this mindset switch. And basically this in 2020 was really interesting year for all of us, but this has nothing to do with the lockdowns or anything like that. This was more about my mental space. And when you come out of prep, this was like 6 months after I came off prep, and I coached myself. I made my own programming for training, and I put a lot on myself, like a lot. And I view it as, if I don't complete all of this, I write everything down. And if I didn't complete this hard training, all the volume, I'm failure. And because it was me who was coaching myself, I really saw myself as a failure in that time. And in the same time, like sometimes the mean people come to your life when you are most how could I say it, they can hurt you in a way that it just hits exactly how you're feeling. And combining all of that, I start believing my own doubts and doubts that everyone talks about me. So I heard things like I don't have what it takes to compete in NPC, and I shouldn't even try, or something like that. But normally it wouldn't bother me. But in that time, there was really like bad situations with this, and I let it happen. And since then, when I saw that Olympia, I start crying. I saw I saw Olympia, and I was like, oh my God, I think I want to compete again. So I basically turned my pain into power, and I don't let anything stop me again, and I don't let it happen again, because also now I have amazing coach, and he's guiding me through this, and he's the one who's holding how could I say, holding the
reins.
Yeah, thank you. The reins, horseback riding.
I
The
know that was
reins.
your background. I'm like,
Yeah.
there. Well, I appreciate you opening up about that, and I definitely want to dig a little bit deeper into what was going on mentally for you. Were the people who were doubting you people that you already had in your life and people you've trusted and loved, or were they new random people?
I think both.
Okay.
I think both, but it's like the main people who you should as a competitor care about as a competitor are the judges, So even now, if someone don't like that I got my pro card or anything like that, I don't care, because it was judge's decision, and it's the only thing that matters. In the end of the day, at the competition, that's the only people who matters. It doesn't matter what your best friend says or what your parent says, because your parents will always say you should win, and maybe sometimes even the coaches could say that. Like, I see it often. They told athletes like, you're gonna win everything and you're gonna win, and I never heard it from my coach. He always keeps me grounded. He's like, I think you can do really well. It's it's like his point of saying this, and he was really big support and big and amazing change in my life. So I'm really grateful for him, because he really keeps all of his athletes grounded, and not there is no bad vibes in our team, so
But
we always bad vibes.
wait, bad vibes. I thought you said butt wipes. I was like,
oh no.
butt wipes. I was like, I've never heard this phrase.
Oh my God, bad vibes. No, sorry, bad vibes. Yeah, this audio is not the best with 8-hour difference.
Fine. I think it was the accent, because I was like, I'm following, but
yeah, no, we really got amazing atmosphere in the team, and all girls are hyping each other, and it's amazing.
Like Laura, who's visiting you soon.
Yeah, Laura. Laura, which last name we cannot even pronounce.
Laura Stalinkevichut.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was on this podcast, you guys. If you haven't listened, definitely check that out. But you're talking awesome. She is a sweetie. You're talking very highly of your coaches, and I do want to get into that. I also want to hear a little bit more about that transition phase for you when you were letting the doubts get to you. You said something that stuck out to me, which was, when someone pinpoints a doubt you already have, and then it like makes it even bigger, essentially.
Yeah.
I find that's especially common for competitors in improvement season. They'll be feeling, oh, I'm like getting bigger or fluffy or whatever they want to call it. And then someone at the gym who they haven't seen in a while is like, oh, you put on weight. And suddenly they're like, I've been bit. Like they want to binge, or they want to like hate their bodies. And it exasperates a problem that's really not even as bad as it seems until it just keeps getting poked, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Recently, we got here in our TV, there was a movie with the Captain Sally, who basically landed with the plane on the river Hudson River. I'm not sure what's the exact name of the film, but it was a real situation. And you know how some people view it as, oh my God, he's a hero, and of course to me he is, and it was also clear that obviously he's a hero until some people start saying like, oh my God, he could kill these people, and suddenly it was like even him, he started doubting his decisions. So it's like, but he saved so many lives, you know. It's crazy how sometimes you feel good, and then there comes some hate, and you start doubting yourself. And when it comes in the wrong time, it can be a disaster. But I think if you have strong mind and strong self-belief, you just shake it off and you keep going.
Absolutely. And you still continued to train. Your training just looked differently in that year. So what did you learn from taking that time off of focus on bodybuilding in order to then like obviously eventually recommit to it? But what did you learn in that time frame?
That's interesting question. Honestly, no one ever asks me on this, so it got me a little thinking. I get to know more about like gymnastics, like their background, and how some coaches might be treating the little kids, and also how incredibly hard this sport is, even when it's, you know, if you think about it, it's body weight. It's like they are lifting like no weights. They are 3 or 4 or 5 year old kids, and they are so freaking strong. And first of all, it makes you feel like you know, I don't even want to call myself like that, but it's like it learned me to view my body in such a different way, and movement in such a different way. And I think, as I said before, what should be like that was like that. And maybe if I didn't have this, I don't want to say like downtime or anything like that, because it was all good, you know, no one died, so
Yes.
it's all good. But I think it should be in my life, because maybe without it I wouldn't have this amazing comeback. And maybe it should be because the comeback was so much greater because of it.
Absolutely. Like we go through those things for reasons that at the time we may not know it. And then as you put the puzzle together, looking backwards in retrospect, you're like, I can see why these things happened as they did.
Yeah, exactly. Puzzle. You said right on spot. Exactly. It's all puzzle. And as a puzzle, I view also all of this journey, you know. It's like your nutrition, your training steps, how you treat your sleep, your mental health. It's all little puzzles, and if you put it together, you've got this beautiful image of, you know, the final physique or the winning physique.
Absolutely, so true. And I love the way that you describe that and use that analogy of the puzzle, because sometimes we make it seem like it's a huge deal, or like we're never going to figure it out, we're never going to get there. But ultimately, every piece has been shaped and cut in order to fit together. And it's not always like that. For some people it is. For some people it's very quick. And then for other people it's very slow to figure out how the puzzle goes together, or they want to try a different way. Like, I'm going to do all the outsides first and then the insides.
Yeah, of course.
You know? So there's so many different ways to solve it as well. And I'm actually curious how you went from coaching yourself, like that sounded like there was a lot of pressure on yourself from yourself. So what changed when you started working with a coach, and maybe how you approached this and what you did differently?
Mm-hmm. You know, that's why I love your podcast. You got such amazing questions, and you are really you really are getting time to know who you are talking to, and I can see you think about these questions as we talk. So
thank you. Yes, you guys were on video together, so she's probably saying this, like
yeah, I can see this spinning. Yeah. You know, I after that 2020 Olympia, I said myself, okay, what is my main goal? And mind you, I had a goal to turn pro until I will be 30, and now I'm 26.
Hey, killed it.
Hey, so we have to find another goal, of course.
Yeah,
under 30.
Olympia, maybe.
Maybe. So I made myself clear on this goal, and after that, I said myself, okay, I need guidance. Of course, I need guidance. I cannot do it alone. I cannot do it by myself. In also changing the federation. It's. I think it's a big deal. So I need to find a coach who turn many athletes pro, who approach I like, and who can guide me, and who will have my trust. So I did like 6 months research, like really, really detailed research, until I got some of my favorites, and I asked their athletes. I asked for my coach. I asked 33 of his athletes.
What?
Not
How'd you decide
I
which
asked
33?
I asked even more athletes, but the 33 was number who responded me. So in each coach, I contact like 40 plus or 50 plus athletes, and I am.
Wow,
your expression says a lot.
Oh yeah, I'm like, dang, she did her. No
Yeah.
wonder it took 6. Now, was that part of the 6 months of research, or was that after? Okay, part of it.
Yeah, it was part. Yeah. So
What did you ask those athletes, by the way?
I also want to say that I didn't ask the top athletes on the team. I didn't contact them. I contact the athletes who was with the coach for like 2 years or 1 year, or who he wasn't mentioning so much. Like it wasn't, because let's be honest, not that coaches would have favorites, or I don't want to say that. I think that each coach has his most successful athlete, for example.
Well, they're marketing, right? So
Yeah,
they're marketing their people who are maybe tagging them more presence on social media as well. And it's great that you were like, I'm gonna talk to maybe some of the more dark horses of the group.
Yeah, and I didn't find those athletes also on profiles of the coach. I looked it up under, like there's a athletes. When athletes tags a coach, it's in the tagging section.
Yes.
On Instagram. So I searched that, and I searched these athletes like 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and I contact them. So I think it was something different that most people would do, and that's why I'm so happy with my coach, because I really take my time. I really, 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 really did my research, and it paid off, because on the first try, I find the best person I could find.
Wow, I love this so much, because we hear a lot as the advice is to do your research, but you're giving very tangible things to do. Go to the tag section of the coach's profile, scroll.
Exactly.
Communicate with those clients. Were they current clients or also past clients that you spoke with?
Most of them, that was also one big thing. Most of them was current, but they was with him like 2+ years or at least 1 year. So it says a lot, when someone is with a coach only for, of course, it's not always coach fault. Athletes decide how long they want to be with the coach, but when someone is switching coaches all the time, it says more about them than on the coaches. So yeah, I really, really did my research, and every afternoon I sit on IG like hours doing my research and responding to all the athletes, because I had like 3 or 4 top coaches I was thinking about, and each of them like 50 athletes you can only imagine my direct. It was, yeah,
I'm sure.
it was wild.
I bet. Well, that's super insightful because I think it's easy to just look on the surface and be like, this person seems like they're getting great results, but
Yeah.
what's the process? There's a lot of coaches who get people great results, and then you hear from the athletes down the road and it's like, I was not taken care of, so it's important that we look out for ourselves and do that research. And that sounds like what was driving you is you had done it yourself and you wanted a better approach. You had just decided to switch to a new federation, which I am going to talk to you about too, because I think we need to get that information out there. But you made that switch and then you're like, okay, I need someone who I can trust and who I'm going to put my trust in. But was this because you wanted to stay healthy? Was this because of the pro card desire? Like, what was really driving you to be like, I'm going to spend hours on research for this decision?
Because I saw a lot of successful athletes, but in the end, they wasn't able to stick to their reverse because their prep was so extreme. And of course, it doesn't have to be a coach's fault, but I want someone who can understand me, who can get me on higher calories, because as we talked before, I don't have much appetite, and we all know we need calories to grow. And also you want to have speed metabolism. You don't want to start prep on like 1500 calories. It's like no. So so I really need someone. First of all, I need someone who I can trust and whose approach I like and whose athletes I like. Because when you look at certain coaches, you can see if they are paying attention to their posing or to their structure, or little things like that, which makes a huge difference. And one of the first things when I contacted my coach, he saw my pictures and he immediately gave me some advices on posing. And I know other coaches tells me like in the time that told me when they saw my picture, they told me like you got amazing genetics on glutes, you got amazing glutes. And my coach Troy, he told me like, you need to work on your glutes. And I'm like, dang, I need this one.
Yeah, because he's gonna push you past your current standard.
Exactly.
Yeah, love that. Now, when you had decided to switch from the IFBB Elite to the NPC, can you just explain like how you needed to do that and what maybe listeners need to understand about the difference in those leagues?
I was always afraid to switching to NPC because all we see is Olympia, and all we think we have to look like to start in NPC is to look like Olympian. So that was also one thing why I was afraid to make the switch. Second reason was because we don't have any NPC here in Czech Republic. We got only one competition, and that's Evels Prague, and that's all. So NPC is non-existing here. So not as much athletes know about it, because we got all we got here, it's IFBB Elite. And I didn't like the posing in Elite. I don't like the front pose, the back pose. I always love the original posing, what I start seeing when I start lifting. And that was what I saw when I saw Olympia in like 2014 or 2015. So that was not only the posing, but the federation was something I really desired to do and I really wanted to do.
Yeah, 2014 and 2015 was when we started to see a little bit less of the erratic posing. I'll say it was still a bit erratic.
Yeah.
But It's evolved a lot, and I feel like 2015 things really started to take on a new form. Bikinis were starting to be like really all sparkly. You were seeing less and less competitors wearing suits off the rack. There was a lot more attention to like how the presentation looked. So I feel like bikini was hitting this new stride. We had really great up and comers in the sport representing bikini. So I imagine watching from that point of view, you'd want to be part of that. And then there's that, okay, yeah, obviously this is the standard and maybe one day I'll get there. So that could be intimidating. But you also knew that, hey, that is the only way technically to get to those big stages. So did
Exactly.
you know early on that was a goal of yours?
You mean like the pro card?
Yeah, like did you know you wanted to compete as a pro in the future?
I get back to contacting the coach because first thing he asked me was, what is your long-term goal? And I said, and I saved this message and I looked it up the day I won my pro card. And I said him that my ultimate goal is the pro card. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And I'm like, oh my God. So
Consider
it was
it
the
done.
first, yeah. It's like, okay, checked.
That's amazing.
So,
and you did do it in that first season with him.
Yeah, it's also the another reason I think I made the best choice possible, because I wouldn't have it with anyone else, because I really admire him and his work. And I also want to say one thing about the posing. In Elite, you stand like in front pose, you stand like forward.
Right,
And
it's more like figure-esque, and you have your arm out.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Just so if people see it online, they know that's usually what the lead.
Yeah.
That's the lead you're seeing.
Yeah, of course. And I thought that this posing doesn't suit me, and then I switched to NPC, and also the home crowd and everyone who follows me saw how I look in the NPC front pose, and they was like, "Oh my God, why you didn't make the switch earlier?" Because it suits you so much better. And I'm like, okay, that's crazy, because I stopped the bodybuilding training style in 2020 because I thought that NPC is something I don't have what it takes. So it's crazy to hear now people saying like, why didn't you make the switch earlier? It's like it suits you so much better. And I'm like, okay, I don't know, because I was scared.
Yeah, and that also shows a lot of respect for the process and for what they're looking for.
Exactly.
So what has changed since then? Because you were describing how you do struggle with appetite, especially in your improvement season. You wanted someone who would help to support you in eating more so you could grow more. So what does maybe your training and nutrition look like in prep compared to now in an improvement season?
Yeah, the training doesn't change like as much in improvement season before and in prep, and now in improvement season. The only thing that changed in training now, it's volume. So we reduced volume like quite a lot, but otherwise I was really training high volume, which also can help you with the appetite. It's a different approach. I'm aware that it's not for everyone, but when you train a lot, you are able to eat a lot more. So that helped a lot.
There's some days where I come home from like an intense leg workout and my stomach feels like a bottomless pit. I'm like, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I will eat this table. I will eat this computer. Anything, give me anything.
Exactly. So you have found obviously a way to support your appetite, bring up your metabolism so you could achieve your goals. And what was this feedback like that you had received after earning your pro card that you needed to grow, or is this something you wanted?
I always write down every feedback I get, because after every show I'm the one person who will stay there until 11 p.m. and will wait for judges, and because I really want to talk to them, and it's such a honor for me to even speak to those judges. I For example, I taught with Becky Clausen.
Oh,
I
that's
talked with
awesome.
her. Yeah, she was in Austria where I competed.
Yes.
So it was amazing, and we really had good panels of judges all year. So I'm really grateful that even USA judges come here to Europe to judge, and they are mostly the head judges. So it's really awesome how the sport is growing here in Europe. And I always write down the feedback or I press record.
I love that.
Yeah, and I immediately send it to my coach. Like, this is what Becky said, and we need to work on this. And after every show, I got the list, like at least 8 things I could improve on. And I'm really picky with posing and everything. And I'm more like perfectionist. How could I say it? Perfect.
Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah, I want everything perfect, and I always can find flaws. And with the growing, of course, I need to grow. I'm aware of it. But the feedback, when I look back at it, I never got told to grow my legs or glutes, which is like for bikini competitor. Oof.
Normally, that's what you're told.
Yeah. I always was taught like getting more condition in the glutes. Of course, I think they had to say it always, every time, especially in amateur league. And that was something that unfortunately cost me loss on my upper body, because I rode horses like 15 years of my life. And when you rode horses, they told you to not use your upper body. As I said it's like, don't use your upper body, or we will get a whip, and we will you know how could I say it, the trainers with horse riding, they always told us to don't use upper body, or we can take your whip and you will get punched on your upper body if you use your upper body on horses. So it's like, and after that, imagine you come to the gym and everyone is like, yeah, just spread your lats and work on your upper body and do your lateral raises and feel your arms. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's so different.
So it makes such a difference. So I'm aware I need to grow a lot in my upper body to be able to have conditioned. I have to be conditioned in my lower glutes as I was, but without sacrificing the upper body, because of course my muscles and fat comes first on the top, as most of us.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I'm glad you just said that it's great, like you see it as a positive thing, because I think some people really struggle with the growth. So how do you like approach mentally the improvement season and seeing that change in physique?
Oh my God, I love it. I love this transition prep to improvement season, where like it's time, like you are still quite lean, but you are getting more carbs and more food, so you are lean and full. And I love this stage. Of course, now it's like 3 months into improvement season, so it's not that first month of amazing amazing physique you like the most, but I really prefer like the curves on woman's body, and I prefer even myself little, not I would say fluffier, but not like the prep body, because it looks good when you hit a pose, it looks good, but in real life not so much. No.
Yes, I totally feel you on that. It's weird, like you get obsessive with it when you're in prep, because you know what you're striving for the stage, and okay, like if I'm looking this lean and this good and I'm walking around my house and I catch a glimpse of like muscles popping or shoulders look more, glutes are
we all
little,
do this.
Yes, it's like nice, and you're thinking about the stage. But there were also so many times in my prep where I was like, I look really not, it just didn't look you know what I'm saying? But like it's your best for what is necessary. But then like when you go in an improvement season and you kind of get that like merves, like the muscle and curves, and you're like, wow, I look like a freaking badass. Like I look like an athlete. It's awesome. there's of course days where it's like you reminisce on the prep physique, or, oh, I want to be lean, or I'm getting uncomfortable. But I think when you support your body in that growth season and you enjoy seeing the life almost coming back into your body, and you're fueling yourself, you can celebrate like it's this body that's ultimately building and responsible for the one that's going to be on stage in a year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever it is. It's this grown body that does that.
Exactly. And I always said, even to my friends and girls around me, I always said, like, imagine it like you are in a theater and you have curtains, and when you pull out the curtains, it's like your show day, or it's
Peace with food without sacrificing your goals as a competitor, because you deserve to have successful preps, productive improvement seasons, and peace of mind year round. I decided to create a free 8-day food relationship coaching series a few years back that over 800 people have gone through. Because when your head is cluttered with thoughts of food, eating, guilt, you have a lot less energy to invest into the goals that you truly care about. So this free program was designed to help athletes like yourself develop a healthy relationship with food so you can have your most fulfilling and effective preps, improvement seasons, and lifestyle phases as well. This is an 8-day series that has a video every single day, a full workbook to guide you through every single video, and you can respond to the emails with the work you did and receive direct support and guidance from me personally, which is, of course, something I love to provide to the community. So you're not only going to discover your ideal relationship with food, but you'll also identify detrimental thought and behavior patterns. You'll overcome guilt and shame, so every decision can be made with intention and pride. We will use expectations and reinforcements to seamlessly manipulate your behavior around food to be more positive and aligned with that ideal relationship with food. We'll figure out why you're really craving what you are when you're sleep deep in another jar of peanut butter, or justifying that next cookie, or continuously eating endless bags of rice cakes, whatever it is for you. We'll become crystal clear on why you act, think, and live the way you do, so you can, of course, act, think, and live the way you want to. And we'll come up with some personal commitments that are rooted in positive psychology based on your current season. So this is a psychoeducational course. It is free to anyone and everyone. You can access it at www.celestial.fit/food series and learn more about it, as well as even get a sneak peek into the accessible PDF notebook with the extra resources and guidance through every single workshop along the way. If you do decide to participate in it and you love it, of course, I encourage you to share it with a friend or a teammate or another athlete who may be struggling. Or if you hear about someone's struggle, let them know that this exists.
It's physique you are showing. And after that, after every theater ends, or like there's maybe some drama, or let's say like Shakespeare. So when Shakespeare ends, you need to pull the curtains again. So for the next time, you can present the better version or the next version. So it's really necessary to pull the curtains.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's a really great way of looking at it. It's wonderful, because we need all the seasons. And if we don't respect all the seasons, it means we're not fully respecting the sport and the demands necessary.
Exactly. And I think it's, especially for girls, important to remind ourselves that when weight doesn't go up, it's probably not even muscles what's not going up. So yeah, I think it's like I'm maybe different kind of girl, because I'm the one who's in prep and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot lose my muscles. I don't care about abs on my belly. I don't care about it. I just don't want to lose my muscles. And in improvement season, I'm like, okay, the weight is going up. As we talk when we started, I was like, my weight is finally going up. I'm happy.
I love that. I think that's a great mentality to have. It's that growth mindset of like, okay, I'm gaining weight, and yeah, some of it's fat, but it also means that I'm getting stronger, I'm healthier, I'm able to put on the size I need to.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to, as you said, getting back to normal life. And what we, like when sometimes you got these prep glasses, it's like you cannot see it. I'm looking back at the photos, and I can see how much striation I have all over my neck, my back, and all the shoulders and everything. And I thought I wasn't lean enough. It's like it's absolutely crazy. It's really like prep brain. I couldn't say anything different.
It's so true. And I'll look back on photos from my prep and I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like ew in a good way, but also like not a good way. Sometimes I'm like, wow, that was awesome. I looked phenomenal. I can't believe like I brought my absolute best. And I'm like, but I looked a little scary. Not gonna lie, like, and it's good in prep, but yeah, we might not be able to fully accept the improvement season version of us, but on the other end, it's also sometimes difficult to accept the prep version of us because we know we just got small, we're lean, sometimes it's painful even. So yeah.
And I think it's not even attractive for our men's to be, like, imagine having someone close to show like prep, little small striations everywhere, and it's like meh. It's no. And I can remember working out. I think I was training shoulders or biceps or anything like that, where all the veins and striations pops up. And I saw myself in the mirror, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot recognize myself. I cannot believe this is me, first of all. And second of all, it was like exactly as you said. It's like, oh, that's so ugly that I love it. It's
like I love it, but I don't.
Yeah,
kind of. I mean? But I'm proud of myself. I did this, but I'm also like, I'm like, and we still have 3 more pounds to lose.
Yeah, you remind me when I saw for the first time ever, I saw like 4 or 5 striations in my hamstring. In each hamstring, I saw it was like walking anatomy. It was crazy. Awesome. And after that, you know what feedback I get? No. Just a little bit tighter.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, damn it.
Or you like it, you like want to bring the fullness, so you're like getting them full, and then it's like, well, it needs to be a little tighter. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So like my feedback is like, grow the glutes, because like I was told your conditioning is great, but you need to grow your glutes, so then when you get maybe less condition, they'll pop more. And I'm like, this is the sport. This is what we like. This is why I think you have to love the process so much, because the outcome, you will, whether you're the champion and you're Miss Bikini Olympia or you just won your pro card, whatever, you have a bigger target on your back and you have more to achieve and do and show for yourself, honestly. So like the improvement never stops in this sport, which is why I believe if you don't want that or you don't like that, don't sign up for it, because it can be mentally taxing for those who are not prepared to be told that even at your damn best, you're not, quote, good enough, end quote. You're good enough as a person, yes, as a soul, yes, as an athlete, yes, not saying that, but to meet the criteria, you got to step up in some ways. It's rare they're going to tell you you're perfect, and if they do, they'll usually follow it up with, so step on stage again here so we can see how you look next to all these other perfect people, and then we'll really tell you how we feel. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's also next to who are you standing. When we got our front pose, how we can stand on any side we want. Yes. So I learned it this season, that if I stand next to someone who's posing on the same side, it will be much visible, the difference between us. But when they are posing on the other side, it's not as visible, and it was usually more struggle even for judges, because they were switching us all the time. So yeah, that's one thing. I want to say something else, but I forgot it. But I think it will pop in my head
If
later.
it does, feel free to shout it out.
Yeah, okay.
So I wanted to ask you about posing. You did mention you're a perfectionist. You come up with ways to improve after every show, which is awesome. I think sometimes people give me a bad rap for saying like a lot of competitors are neurotic, but that's because there's a misunderstanding about what it means to be neurotic. It's like you just have an ability to fixate on negative things, which doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, especially if you're also highly conscientious, because then you're going to execute and be organized and structured and probably positive with that. So it's like a good mix, but that's besides the point. That kind of perfectionist mentality is very common in this sport. And I see your posing has evolved so much. It's very flowy. It's very beautiful.
Oh,
And
thank you.
you're welcome. So how did you evolve in that? Because I know you got a posing coach and you've worked for yourself, and then you also do posing coaching yourself. So talk to us about like your posing journey and how important that is.
When I made a transition from Elite, I was aware that these poses are a lot of different, and they looked easier, but they are definitely not. Especially the front pose, it's really, really hard to twist your body like this. And mind you, I'm stretching every single day for this posing, even now. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really hard to.
It is hard. Like when you're
Yeah.
not like when you're kind of stiff in the morning and you try to hit your front pose and you're not like
Yeah.
flexible enough, it does like affect you. You can feel how
Exactly.
much you have to practice.
Exactly. And so with this posing, I was aware that, again, as in prep, I need a coach. I need someone to help me. So I reach out to Renee Garden, who is like my favorite person ever. She's such a different posing coach than I experienced before, because she learned me not how to pose. She didn't tell me like do this, do this, do this, and that's our routine. She learned me how to feel the posing. And I think feeling the posing is so much different than just doing the posing and just hitting poses. And you can see almost in every coach, the posing coach, when you look at their clients, most of them pose the same, and I didn't want that. And when I look at Rennie, all of her clients has different style, it has different vibe, and it's like there was a story behind every routine, and it was more like dance combined with the posing, and that's exactly what I want. So I reached out to her, and it was again the best decision I could ever do. And from that, I also learned a lot for myself and for my clients, because I also took it as an investment in my knowledge of posing. And that's what got me even further with my clients. It could be for NPC or Elite, because I teach both. And I think posing is so much underrated, especially here in Europe. I think a lot of girls would be pro like few years back then, or at least their last season, a lot of girls, but they cannot hit their poses right. And what you didn't show, judges couldn't see, so they judge you based on that. And maybe there is someone next to you whose physique isn't as good as yours, but they got their posing right, and they got the personality to the posing. And it says a lot when someone is enjoying their routine and they really like, oh my god, I'm here, and not in arrogant way, just like, look at what I did, look at my work, and look what I'm about to present.
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference. You can tell when someone's like feeling the posing,
Yeah.
feeling themselves. Now, this did make me think, having a posing coach who approaches it with the effort of feeling, did that also connect with you? And I may be totally off, but did this also connect with you because of your work with horses in the past, where I imagine that's a big deal?
Oh, that's interesting question. I never thought about it. Maybe in some kind of way, but I never realized it. Maybe, but I did show jumping. I didn't do the dressage, or
Okay.
like I was jumping, so I didn't do the performance based.
That's super awesome though. Now, how did you even find out about bodybuilding? Like, did you start training in the gym because of show jumping or because like you just wanted to? How did you even find bodybuilding?
It's because lot of sports has gym, like something adding to it, like football players and golf players, and most of the sports, they go to the gym because of the sport.
Yep.
And horse riding or equestrian doesn't have anything like that. No one goes to the gym to ride horses, like no one. So it starts around 15, or when I was 15 or 16 years old, when you got to the point that you don't like your body. And of course you want to change. And of course you want to lose weight here and lose weight here and make some curves here, but not here. And, it's like, yeah, the spot fat reduction doesn't exist. So we all been there.
We
So
all
I
wanted
started
it.
going.
We all searched
Yeah.
for it and then realized it
I would,
couldn't happen.
yeah, I would still love to have it, to be able
Of
to spot
course.
reduce, of course. And so I start going to the gym because of this, because I want to lose weight, I want to look different, and no other girls were going to the gym. So I start lifting with friends who was there, which was boys. So my split was like biceps and my traps and my triceps. So and my chest. Yeah.
Yep, totally.
Yes. So I start lifting with boys, and one of my friends, he came up to me and he was like, when you start lifting, your glutes really pops up immediately. Of course, when you ride horses 15 years.
Yes.
So he was like, you should really consider doing bikini. I'm like, bikini? What the hell it is? I just want to lift weights and being here, and it's like hobby. And after that, of course, I got home and I did my research. I found Olympia, and of course, we all been there, we all done that. So after that, I find a coach, a local coach, and I did my first show like 6 months after, which was way, way, way earlier. I should wait much longer, but it didn't come as bad, and I was hooked since then. So it was one friend, one sentence, and it all started.
Yeah, the seed had been planted.
Yeah.
And now what do you want to achieve in the IFBB? Like, do you plan to come to America? Do you have like an idea of a timeline? It seems like right now you're just doing what needs to be done and letting the timeline figure itself out.
Exactly. I had a deadline, like I want to be finished with this improvement season this time, and I want to start prep in this time. But in the end, I will let all of this on my coach, because with everything he says to me, he was always right. So as our moms, coaches will be most of the time right, and we have to that's why we are paying them, because of their opinion, because they hopefully got best interest in their minds for us. So I will really let this up to him when we should start a prep. If it would be up to me, I would really love to do some show in 2023, but I'm aware I need to grow, and I really enjoy winning, so I don't want to be losing. And if I should start a prep, which is like, it's commitment, it's a long process, it's like basically half of your year of potential growing is gone. So you need to commit to this fully, not even saying the finances and time and effort and everything. Of course, everything has to be there. And I know I should let it up to him. So maybe it will be 1 year break, it will be like break, like air quotes, like
right, break. Mm-hmm.
yeah, or 2 years break, because as you said, I would love to come visit you to America, of course. And I'm not sure if it would be even responsible to do it like the rookie season with only 1 year improvement season, because I'm aware that in USA there is much higher caliber, especially in the pro show. Like, come on, there are people who we look up to, and now I should be standing next to them. It's like absolutely crazy, and more aware of it, so that it's a huge commitment. So we'll see. For now, I got some shows in my mind, but we will see. It's shows are whole year, so it doesn't matter. I really want to bring package that will be pro stage worthy.
Absolutely. I love that mentality. It's like you just got to do what you got to do and come back. And honestly, sometimes we do that and then we get on stage and it's like, okay, I have to do that again. I have to grow again. And it's okay. It's like, if you love it, you're going to love it. So I think it's great that you're just leaving this up to you and your coach to decide and like determine what's going to be in your best interest. So you're not just going through the motions, getting on the pro stage just to do it, but instead like to bring your own new personal best. And you did do this throughout this past season as well. And I wanted to know if you felt like you nailed it at your final showing where you won your pro card, or if there were still things you would have done differently, or if you learned any lessons or made mistakes.
As you said, I got all, after every show, I got a whole list of things I could do better. And it was like little things, like my hair was stuck in this earring and it was hanging on my shoulder. And I was so mad at this. And this, for example, happened in Austria, like stupid little things like this. And I should stand more closer with my legs and I shouldn't put my arms like this. And, because I'm such a detailist in the posing, I always find flaws, and it's basically my job to find flaws with my clients. So I do it with myself, of course. And even like when you get to the backstage, you are not sure how it will be going, how the program will go, when exactly you get on time on the stage. And it sometimes happened that I was like 3 hours without food and there was really like cold backstage. So I was literally standing and feeling how I'm shrinking. It's crazy to say, someone who doesn't feel that ever. But I think most competitors in some point of their shows experience it. And it's like the worst feeling to feel like you are shrinking. And so for the last show, I think it was my best package in terms of conditioning. But as I said, my upper body paid the price for my glute ham tines, because that was feedback for previous 2 shows. They always said like, this is good, this is good, this is great. You need to grow your upper body, but you need to come leaner in the glutes. So that's, what can you do with this? You cannot. That's why I cannot continue to pro debut immediately, even if I would love to in that time. I could not, because when judges told you like, you need to come tighter in the glute ham tines, but you need to grow your upper body, it's like, okay, so that's not realistic to do at the same time. So that's why I need to come to the off season immediately. And if I should pinpoint my physique I felt the best in, it was the first show, and it was Evel's Prague Amateur, because it was here in Prague. It was like 20 minutes away from my home. And it was home crowned. So everyone who follows me for years, even who follows me through my IFBB Elite journey, most of them was there. And the crowd was absolutely insane. I got goosebumps just talking about it. And it's something I wish I would experience again, and I would wish to experience it as my pro debut. That's why I really want to make my pro debut here in Prague again, but as a pro now, because this atmosphere was absolutely incredible. And recently I did a YouTube video because I document my whole prep, but I'm sharing it later. I'm sharing it now when I'm in my improvement season, so it doesn't affect my prep. If I would be sharing like immediately.
Why would it affect your prep?
Because sometimes you can have some smart comments there, and as we talked, you get doubts from others, and in prep we are a lot more sensitive and a lot more. It can affect your prep. Let's be honest. It can affect your mentality and your confidence going to prep, your confidence with yourself. And I don't want that. I really want to have more like a secret prep. And after that, like I posted on Instagram, I posted a picture from registration on Ellis. And I wrote like, we did a thing. So see you tomorrow.
That's awesome.
And it was awesome. So this physique on Ellis was, for my own confidence, the best, because I'm also because of the crown and because I was definitely the fullest. You know how you feel when you got some lacking body part. For me, it's like upper body, and you come to a stage and you feel full in upper body, but at the same time you got quite good hem tines. It was like I feel full in my upper body and I can feel it and I can see it, and it's accomplished. It's amazing. And for example, in the Poland, where I won my pro card, I felt so like shrinked in my upper body. I'm not fucking around in training. I never drop the weights. I got different kind of mentality in training, in prep, and still you can shrink. It's not like she would drop the weights and she would stop training so her body shrinks. No, literally you can get to a point when you start shrinking, even if you are increasing food and you are busting in the gym. So yeah. And I also I'm thinking back when we got to Poland, it was like 9-hour drive by car, and for that weekend I dropped like 4 kilos. I think it's like I think it's like 8 or I think it's like 8 pounds. Because of the travel I drop a lot always. So it was like the weight is going down, which should be yay in prep, but in this phase it was like, oh my god. And I came home, and from the traveling home I dropped another like 2 kilos, and it was like, oh my god, where did the weight goes? So that's also one of the reasons I need to take time to for a pro stage, because I'm aware I'm dropping weight like crazy when I travel. So and imagine going to USA, it's like
exactly. And then if you're like if your calories are very low and then you need to fill out and you can't get full enough.
Exactly, but you need to still keep the waist tight, and you need to keep the glute tie-ins in. You cannot sacrifice your conditioning. It's like, it's really different ball game, all this bodybuilding.
It is. And you have said bodybuilding has changed your life. So how has it changed your life?
I think it made me a different person on a personal level, in my mentality. I was always like the the person who's going hard, even in horseback riding. I was the one who rode multiple horses a day. I was the one who stay late in the stable and take care of the horses, and I was always person who did the extras. And you need certain mentality with this. I did a lot of reading. For example, Tim Grover Winning, Relentless, you name it, I read it.
Nice.
And in these books, I find out that I'm not crazy, because I was told many times I'm maniac, I'm crazy, I train like maniac, and I shouldn't train so much, and I shouldn't do this and should do this, and all the doubts that everyone can throw at you. And as I said, I turn it into power, and I remain myself to believe what I believe. And yeah, I have mentality like I have no plan B. When I set my mind onto something, there's only plan A, and there is no plan B. And I really think in prep, your desire has to be bigger than your discomfort.
Absolutely.
And you need to embrace this. And if you truly love the sport, it doesn't matter what it takes. And I know it sounds like crazy or scary in some ways, but of course you should remain your health and not going to extra extremes. But if you are almost like driven by passion, that's what I would call it. It doesn't matter how much time it will take. And that's what I said in the beginning. It's like what is meant to be will meant to be for you.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And honestly, I think a lot of us in this sport are used to hearing that, like, you're crazy. How are you doing this? Why are you doing this? But it's like,
Yeah,
this is actually allowing
I love it.
me. Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. It allows me to be who I am. I feel at home in this. And
Yeah.
like, I've gotten shit for telling people to push past pain. And I talked about this a little bit on my episode I did with Adam Atkinson, my coach, and reviewing my season. And like,
I heard it.
yeah.
I heard it, of course.
So you resonate probably with we have very similar mentality, which is like,
Yeah.
you do the work and you don't complain about it because you're choosing it. And when people want to push their opinions on you about it, you can just proudly say, like, I'm rising to this occasion. And we live in a cushier society now, I think, where people want to keep it easy and have comfort and not push too hard, not take too far. But it's like we're sacrificing then so much potential, and the ability to see what we're truly capable of can only come if we push ourselves in a particular way, or we try to create a new limit. And there's times where we do that and it was too far, too much. And then we have to build up the efficacy or the strength of the ability. But that doesn't happen unless you say, I want to. And that's that passion piece. Like, when you're passionate about something, you relish in it, you enjoy it, you almost crave a little bit of the pain that you know is necessary to get the result, because
oh my God, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, you're like, I want to feel that, because it's like, I know I'm getting where I want to be.
Yeah, I also think if you ever experience it, when someone asks you how could you do that, how could you do this amount of cardio, how could you track all your food, and it's like, I wouldn't have time on this. And I always think, like, when you know your why, you will find how. Every time. And it doesn't matter if it's in the school, if it's degree, if it's in the business, in your job, in your family, it doesn't matter. If you have enough strong why, you will figure out how. And also with that mentality, I think you will resonate. I got so many quotes in my head.
Share that.
It's like the wolf under the hill is hungrier than wolf on top of the hill. And I think it's especially for someone who wants to go pro, it's like they are usually more hungrier than someone who's on the top. It depends on the personality, of course, and
what
the
they're
mentality.
working towards, because then the hill might get bigger. But it's so true, though. It's like when you have the mountains to climb and you're excited to climb them. And that's what I meant earlier too, with like Miss Bikini Olympia or the most recent pro, all their targets on their back just got bigger, not smaller because they achieved something, bigger because now they represent something.
Yeah, I admire them, honestly, for sharing their journey. Like, everywhere it's like, road to Olympia, and
Awesome.
10 days out and 11 days out. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot imagine to have this big target on my back, and even sharing these videos right away, because as I said, I shared it after my season. It was like the best decision I ever did, because I got the calmest prep ever. So huge admire to them.
I love that. Well, let's get your best advice now. Yeah. Okay. So what would be your best advice for someone who's never competed before but wants to? And then your best advice for someone on their road to pro?
As the first question you asked me, like before the stage, what did I do? So also this
You
question
thought
was
this one through.
yeah,
Sure.
of course. All the episodes for all the past 4 years, I thought about it. And for beginners, I think first of all, do it for the right reasons. And sometimes you know it more than anyone else. You cannot heal body you hate. So make sure you are not doing it because you hate your body, and do it for the right reason, because this will be probably something what's gonna change your life, hopefully in the best way possible. So also get a good coach. As I said before about my research, do your research a lot. And when you get to the coach, I think your check-ins will tell how much you actually care. If you really care, your coach will notice through the check-ins. So that's for beginners. And for someone who's on the road to pro, I think I will go back to have no plan B. And when your time will come, it will come. And be ready to clap when it's not your time. Because, for example, at Evels, I experienced one of my good friends' time when she earned her pro card. And it was such a wonderful moment to share stage with her and also be there for her, and that I could hug her when she got her pro card, and I could be happy for her. So yeah, I think it's more like be ready to clap when it's someone else's time, because they will clap for you when it's going to be your time. And if it should be your time, it will be your time.
Beautiful. I love that so much. And I really appreciate just everything you've shared. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. And it's been awesome just getting to know you even more too, just from the messages of course here and there. But like, this is so cool. And I loved it so much. So how can people follow along your journey? Maybe even watch that series. So could you share your YouTube, maybe Instagram, and ways people could connect with you for coaching as well?
Okay. So for Instagram, I'm Anna Faltova. No dots, no anything, only. And on YouTube, you can also find me under my name. And recently, I started sharing my journey and my last prep. And it's like a whole prep series, which is called There Is More, because that's something I really resonate with. Like, there is always more in us. And I have it in Czech language, but I added English subtitles. And it's not like these automatic subtitles, which makes no sense because they usually didn't catch a word right. But I got an assistant who's adding it exactly to each and every video. So it really makes sense because she knows English really well and much better than me. So it's also something I want to do for my following, to be able to expand a little bit more, because as Laura told me, like, oh my God, you got a YouTube channel, but I cannot understand the word. You should do it in English. And I'm like, yeah, but I got like 23 or 24,000 viewers there, followers on YouTube, and they are mostly from Czech. So I cannot tell them like bye, and I'm now doing everything in English.
And
so
that can be
like
your major impact, is like being there for them and encouraging them.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly. Especially when we don't have any NPC here, it's like, why would I stop doing it in our language? So at least this is something, how could I share it with more abroad followers, which
yes,
kind of there are some followers gained from this past season from abroad, of course, because we met in the backstage or anything like that. So I wanna share it also then. And for the coaching, you can reach me on Instagram. There is my email. When you click the email button, it will direct you then.
awesome. Okay. Well, I'm gonna put that in the show notes, or I should say, I'll have my assistant put it in the show notes, because I always say I'm gonna do it, and I literally never do it. It's her. I used to do it. I don't do it now. I think it's probably been like 2 years or something, but I'll make sure that happens. And I just want to say thank you so much again for your time and for coming on here.
You're welcome. One thing, I think you should do episode about yourself. I know many people told you, and I know you are not pro yet, but you really should, because you got really interesting story, and I really admire for what you've gone through, especially this year. And I think a lot of people would benefit from it.
Thank you.
So just maybe sometimes we can make an interview with you.
Well, thank you for saying that, because it was like,
You're
honestly, kind of stepping out of my comfort zone to do the recap with Adam, because I'm like, well, but I know for sure once I go pro too, I'm going to be doing a lot of my own episodes, and it'll really be Confessions of a Bikini Pro, as in like me, and then also the interviews. So it's like a motivating factor, but like hearing you say that, it like motivates me even more. So I appreciate that.
I think you definitely should. And the episode with Adam was amazing. The episode with Joe Pishkula was absolute. Oh my God, get him like 10 more times, dear. He's awesome. He's awesome. I met him in Poland. He wasn't judging me. Yeah, but he wasn't judging me. He was judging my friend, and I was there with her. But it was such an amazing episode. And he was always like, what you got next? What you got next?
I know.
Energy and everything. It was awesome. Awesome.
Well, thanks for just being such a supporter. I'll let him know. I'll shoot him a text or something.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please. I think more judges, the better, because then the girls can really understand the criteria.
I did just ask someone else, so we'll see if he says yes. So we'll see. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, but he's really awesome. So if it happens, great. If not, forget what I said, everybody. Forgive me.
Little teaser.
A little teaser. Exactly. With maybe no satisfaction. But with that said, thank you again for coming on. To everybody listening, hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode. Just begin on.
Thank you for having me.